The figure we have right here is the DC Multiverse by Mcfarlane Toys. This is called the Hellbat armor. Just for size comparison, I threw in the Marvel Select Iron Man figure, and as you could see, the Hellbat armor is quite bigger and beefier than the egocentric armor of Tony Stark. So just a little bit of history for those of us who don't know this armor, the origins or history of this armor, yours truly included. So I made a short research regarding this Batman armor because I'm really not much aware that Batman wore an armor. So this first appeared in Batman and Robin, the New 52. It appeared in number 33 of said comics as part of the Hunt for Robin storyline. Since Batman is the only member of the Justice League that did not have superpowers, so Bruce Wayne designed and built this armor to compensate for what he lacked in superpowers. So the Justice League also had incorporated some of their actual special powers to this suit, so to speak. And the armor itself, the construction, it's made out of nanoparticle mesh, and it was forged in the sun by Superman. So wow. Okay, so the wings were created by Green Lantern's powers. Flash also incorporated some of his powers into this suit, also with Cyborg, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman. So you could just imagine all of the combined strengths of the Justice League members, original founding members, incorporated into this suit to give Bruce Wayne capabilities that he does not have. The only drawback to this armor is that it drained Bruce Wayne physically of his strength. So the armor was much like a parasite that would really eat into him physically. So that is the reason why Bruce Wayne wouldn't wear this armor much. If we could take a look at the design of the armor, it takes into account some of the design elements, especially the color of the Batman Beyond armor, which we would be reviewing later. This is a pre-owned or pre-loved toy. I bought this figure from Empire Toys, which is located in Keller, Texas. So if you are in the DFW or Dallas-Fort Worth area and you are somewhere in Keller, then go visit Empire Toys. So they have a good selection of not only the new releases but also of these toys, the figures that came from 1 year or 2 years or 3 years ago, and they have a good selection. So go visit them. That's where I got this figure. And actually I skipped this figure when it was released last year because I did not know the history behind this figure. I just thought that Todd McFarlane just designed a semi-ridiculous looking Batman Beyond suit. But actually, when I later learned of the history of this suit, I came searching for this figure and finally found him at Empire Toys. Okay, so let's discuss the features of this action figure. So this is not your standard action figure. the size is quite large. Basically, just like your build a figure piece, somewhere in the 7.5 or 8 inches range. So it's a big and beefy figure. So of course, DC Multiverse line by Mcfarlane, they really produce large figures in the 6.5 or 7 or sometimes 8. So this is a really big toy, especially if you go and unfold the wings. So just like in my other reviews of other figures that has wings, you know that I would always say that if you're going to display this figure with the wings spread out, it would take up space. So that's just the reality of owning action figures with wings. Now, the beauty with this action figure is that you could take the wings out easily. So it's not a struggle to pop out those wing bits. So no force at all. You could just take these wing pieces out. So just like the Batman Beyond figure, if you like to display this figure without these accessories, it's possible, and looks way cooler without the wings. With regards to the posability and mobility of this figure, you won't be disappointed, because we have really multiple points of articulation. As you could see, when you spread out the arms of the figure, those joints are really nice and very movable. So with the ball on the diaphragm and the articulation on the waist. So if you're familiar with the classified series Snake Eyes, then you would be familiar with how this figure would have its posability and mobility thing. So really smooth action, and you could put this guy in several poses. As you could see, the points of articulation are really great. Well, of course, just for these areas over here, that ball really separates the boot. But since this is a armor of some, or this is a suit of armor, then I would give it a pass. So, but for really posability, this is a really good figure, and it holds its pose and is quite balanced. Of course, not only because of the beefiness of the figure, but its weight too. It's nicely constructed. The materials are good and are not flimsy. So especially the joints, they're easy to articulate and move around and straighten. So from a really ridiculous pose, you could straighten out this figure in just plain pose like this, and there you go. It stands nicely. It won't topple down easily. So if you have a chance to come across this figure at your local comic book store, at a flea market, or a friend is giving you or selling you this figure, then don't give it a second thought. Just buy it or take it. So this is my simple review of this Hellbat armor by Mcfarlane Toys. So great job, Mcfarlane Toys, for the design and the build of this Hellbat armor. So if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe.